funky about
Are we live now?
phone. Yeah.
We're back.
Hey guys. Whoops. Let's go that way. Yeah, there it is. Hey, really sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the other phone. I'm trying to use like this new fancy schmancy, like really like good camera phone. And we're on an iPhone XR right now, and switched back from T-Mobile to AT&T for our data connection, and not exactly sure why. It could be that like the data today is a little bit funky as we're doing the tour, but like as always, if there is any problem with the lag or anything like that, we're gonna upload this whole video again in like a couple hours from now after, so you can still enjoy this awesome experience, this tour. Bill, thank you for being so professional and allowing us to start and stop like that.
This is great. This is live, right? So that's what happens when you go live.
Yeah, it is. It is what happens when you go live. It's unexpected,
exactly.
It's unpredictable. So
just remember, don't cuss. We're live.
Exactly.
There's no one bleeping it out.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Hey, listen, what you guys can do now, especially as we've just kind of like started and stopped, it just means that there's a lot of people that are looking for us and trying to figure out what just happened. Usually we'd be broadcasting directly into the event room that we've set up in YouTube. But once we've started and then ended again on the YouTube channel, it won't let me go back into that event room. So if you're watching right now, and you are, thank you, Kristen, appreciate it, letting us know we're here. That's great. If you are watching right now in the general YouTube room and you see that there's still an event there, right, in Beaufort, golf cart tour, could someone just jump into that room really quick and just let the people know? I don't have a moderator, right, and it's just me and Bill. We're out here, and like I'm camera and moderator on the website. When you get posts from the company while you're watching a live stream, it is literally me with another phone posting things really quickly as I'm going. It's like the guy with the guitar and the harmonica and the drum and the whole thing, okay?
Yeah, you got to wear the phone around that thing around your neck for the harmonica.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. So if you guys who are incredibly supportive folks out there, someone could just jump in into the channels and let folks know where we actually are right now. All you need to be doing is if you go to our general YouTube page, which is youtube.com/c/Sandemans Live, or our New Europe Tours Facebook page, like the main one that we have, it's broadcasting on both of those. Just stay out of the individual rooms. I have no idea why it does this to us. But I'm going to stop talking and let Bill get back onto it. But please, 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 more hellos. More let us know you're there, so we can build the audience right now. If not, it's us talking to a screen and each other, and it'd be more fun to be talking to you, answering your questions.
Definitely send in your questions, your comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
My face is a mess. This road trip, I need a makeup artist.
By the way,
makeup artist too.
By the way, Chris never sleeps. At like, what was it, 3 in the morning or something? You texted me.
Yeah, I had to get up for Shohei's tour.
Oh, for the Tokyo.
Yeah, Shohei. Oh, no, Kyoto.
Oh, Kyoto.
Whoa.
Did I
get in big trouble.
I meant Kyoto.
Shohei just hung up. That's it. He's gone.
Sorry about that.
You see one less person watching. Shohei's like, forget it. You can find a tour guide in Tokyo to watch it.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey, Michaela. Na, vielen Dank. Schönen Gruß aus. Shannon, thank you. See, this is exactly what we need.
This is cool.
Folly Dude, hey brother. I hope you enjoyed the Charleston tour as well.
Folly Dude was on the other day.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Folly Dude, I've had a series of mispronunciations lately. I was calling it Foley.
Yeah,
I got whacked for that.
I caught that. Foley.
Yeah, I messed up there. Sorry about that.
By the way, there's a connection between Folly Beach and Beaufort. So back in 1987, they were digging a foundation on Folly Beach for a building, and they found the remains of up to 19 African Americans who fought with the Massachusetts 54th during the Civil War. And in 1989, they brought them back here to the Beaufort National Cemetery. We're going to go by there in a little bit, and they reburied them. The governor of Massachusetts was here, Michael Dukakis, and Denzel Washington and some of the other actors from the movie Glory came for the reburial dressed in their Civil War uniforms.
That is so cool.
So the remains were found on Folly Beach because that's where the Morris Lighthouse
That is so cool.
That's amazing.
Folly Dude asks, where are those F-35s? We saw some earlier on.
We did.
When
They
down
were
at the marina.
noisier today than the other day.
Yeah, we'll see them again, I'm sure.
About 2 years ago, I was driving into town one day and I saw one of the F-35s. The Marine Corps version is the only version that can land and take off vertically. So I saw it there and it was like hovering. It was pretty cool.
That's incredible.
It was, and we bring in pilots from the Royal Air Force and other Italian Air Force from around the world, come here to Beaufort, and they come here for 3 years to learn how to fly the F-35B.
Wow.
It takes 3 years.
But is it a discontinued, I mean, are they still producing those? Or?
Oh, they're brand new.
Oh, wow, they are. They're brand, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
They
wow.
replaced the F-16, F-18.
Got it.
Yeah, so F-35B has been around for less than 10 years, and like I said, it takes 3 years to learn how to fly one.
And Top Gun was F-16s?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, maybe they're flying the F-35B in the new Top Gun.
That would be cool.
It's coming out sometime in the future.
Hey, Hail Horseman, thanks for saying hi from Folly as well. I really appreciate that. Now I just need someone to show up from one of the other words that I get wrong. Is there anyone from Edisto out there? Anyone from Edisto? No?
Do we want to show the Edisto grits we found?
We just found. Guys, this is so cool. As part of our, we're just getting started right now, so if you're tuning in and expecting a heavy tour, it's because we are we're just building the audience back up again. So we do this tour for more than, I mean, we do the tour for one person. Bill would do the tour for me, but
Sure.
It's nice if there's more people that get to join in. And your comments right now help a ton in letting other people know that this is happening. And the reason why that works that way is this: Google and Facebook essentially want your eyeballs. Right? They want to know that you're watching. And not that you're like my mom who just goes and puts on a playlist and watches 50 of these at a time, but actually walks away and does something else. They want to know that you're still there. So if you're typing on the screen, then they know that you're actually watching.
Makes it interactive.
And that engagement ends up pushing this live stream up to the top of the feed. And then people who are sitting there being like, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I think I'm going to watch some girl how good her cocktail tastes, which is basically what Twitch is, that and boys playing video games, right? So your comments let people know that, oh wow, you're actually interested. We should get ahead of the girl in the jacuzzi who's doing face paint or whatever, and actually do some real awesome history. So really appreciate it. See, Folly Dude, that smiley face counts. That's it. A smiley face is a huge thing. They're like, oh
Cool.
wow, he's clearly watching. And Dolly Tesson. Hi guys, the live stream is still working on YouTube. Great. I did. Thank you. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you for doing that, Dolly. It helps a ton for us for you to go and check it out. See, Lillian, you just saying hello. Joel saying hey. Hail, giving me some cat love. All of that is helping us a ton. Okay, so the point of it is this: on this road trip, my next weekend destination is going to have me in none other than New Orleans, and I'm meeting up with an old high school buddy of mine. Jason Goodenough, who is good enough. Again. He was actually good enough to be the 2018 top chef of New Orleans.
That's amazing.
As by, voted by New Orleans Magazine. So no joke. So he's going to bring us together, bringing tourism and restaurants together in this recovery period right now as we build back up from COVID. And he's giving a food and walking tour of his neighborhood, which is the Garden District. And I had to bring the guy something to say thank you. And not just any garbage. And I know he's not watching this right now, so he's not even going to be surprised. But he will be surprised when we show up. And I was talking earlier on to Bill about how I wanted to bring him something like artisanal food product or something, because he's a chef. And I was like, oh man, I just got to find these grits, but not just any grits, not Anson grits. They got to be Geechee Boy grits, or they got to be Edisto grits.
Yeah, Edisto.
I know, I'm just messing with it. And then what happened? Bill showed up with none other than the friggin' grits.
Geechee Boy grits.
Oh man.
We got
so
white
cool.
grits, yellow grits. We even got some Carolina Gold.
And then you were telling me that this is actually also the Carolina Gold rice. That is the same rice that was historically grown in this area, right?
The Carolina was famous for. There we go.
Obrigado, Liliana. Obrigadísimo.
Carolina Gold.
Oh, look at that. Whoa. And it's not in a plastic bag. Guys, this is actually like a cloth bag.
Yep.
So cool. So cool. All right, well, Shannon asks, is it better to watch on Facebook or YouTube? Shannon, I love that you asked that question because it is an excellent question for us. It is better for us as an organization, for me, I guess, because like there's not much of an organization here right now. It's just kind of like me and Bill and then Jim, you know, from Charleston did an awesome tour. His synced video is up, by the way.
Awesome. He was great.
Ann and Jason and Katrina, who are all the great guides, so I'm going to be meeting with this week. You know, at the end of the day, I want you guys to watch wherever is best for you, but it does help us a ton if you watch on YouTube. Because if we hit like a certain number of hours on YouTube watched, what can happen is that we can actually take direct donations over YouTube. And there'll be like a little link there. And it's just so much easier than me waiting till you guys aren't watching and being like, hey, I'm just gonna quickly post a request for you guys to make a donation, you know, using my finger from a notepad while I'm filming. It'd be much easier. So yeah, to answer Shannon's very kind question, yes, YouTube is better.
Good, good.
All right, well, I think that we probably have a bit of an audience and people are waiting around. Last thing I want is for you guys to not see us get going.
Yeah, let's head on out and check out some more Beaufort.
Should we do it?
We're going to do it. And we can cover more ground by golf cart. So this is a great way to do a tour. And it's more of an outside COVID-friendly tour. I've had a lot of great feedback from people who come take our tour.
Hey, how long have you been doing these golf cart tours for?
October. And I stopped giving tours in my Mercedes Sprinter van back in March because of COVID. And then in October, I finally took delivery of this golf cart, which is a special Yamaha quiet technology golf cart. So it's gasoline, but it's quiet. Awesome. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from tours on here, so it's been a lot of fun.
And you don't mind if I sit back one seat behind you?
Yeah, have a seat. Let's go.
All right,
we'll go check out some of Beaufort. A lot of people pull down this street too because they know the Big Chill House is here. So that's why these cars keep showing up. Everyone wants to see the Big Chill House.
Awesome. Hey, Bill, as we're driving around, just be aware as well that your microphone, if you turn your head too far back in my direction, we might lose the mic volume on it.
Okay.
So guys, if you're having trouble with hearing us or anything, please just keep the comments coming. Let us know if things aren't working right, because then we'll react to it. Making this happen until it's done, so we're here for you.
Now this area on the left here is known as the Green. It's owned by the Beaufort Open Land Trust to preserve the view. And I think, as I mentioned the other day, they had a Big Chill football game out here in the Big Chill movie. So during the Civil War, this was a tent encampment area that they have. But it's got beautiful view here, beautiful Spanish moss, live oak trees.
Which apparently is neither Spanish nor moss?
Neither Spanish nor moss. It's an air plant known as an epiphyte, and it's part of the pineapple family.
Amazing.
Now this house on the right here is the Berners Barnwell Sams #2. So Bernard Barnwell Sams had 11 children with his first wife. She was a Fripp, and he died in childbirth on the 11th. I might have mentioned this the other day, as a matter of fact. And then he married her cousin, also a Fripp, and had 4 more. So 15 children, decided he needed a second downtown house. And so this was his downtown house. The house and the columns out front are made out of brick.
Amazing.
And then the foundation is tabby, which is an oyster shell mix. And this down here, by the way, is a step up to get in your horse carriage.
Right.
We're doing a live tour.
Oh, you guys want to say hi to the world?
Hi to the world.
They're actually,
yeah?
for real.
Yeah, no joke. They're watching you guys right now. I mean, I hope you guys are actually together. And this isn't just...
We've been together for how many years?
35 years.
Ah,
Sweet.
35 years.
I guess that's why you guys are standing so close to one another.
There you'll go by our little house with the little columns on the front.
Well, be careful. We'll be over for dinner later on if you keep being so friendly.
So this is the beautiful house, has a beautiful garden here. And I met the owner about 2 months ago, and she gave me a tour around the grounds. Just beautiful. You'll see a lot of the lanterns here, the flame out front. In Charleston, they have a lot of those too.
Nature is just has joined us and asking where
Beaufort in an area of town called the Point, and this area here is has some of the most expensive homes, some of the most beautiful antebellum homes. As I mentioned on the walking tour, antebellum with a capital A means before the Civil War in American history and American architecture. And so these are some beautiful homes here. On the left here, This is the John Archibald Johnson House. And this was built in 1850. In 1973, the house had a large chimney on the back side of the house that pulled away from the house and took the back half of the house with it. And so the house was actually condemned by the city of Beaufort, purchased by the Beaufort Historic Foundation, and then put back together once they sold it to somebody who had enough money to rebuild the house. Otherwise, this house was scheduled for the bulldozer.
Hey, no pressure, Jim. Sorry, no pressure, Bill. But Jim Gresham just joined us.
Oh,
He's
great!
watching us from Charleston right
Jim,
now.
I love your tour, and I'm ready to come to Beaufort and take it in person.
To Charleston.
Charleston. I'm sorry,
That's
Charleston.
me. I'm switching up Jim and Bill.
You know
so
the-
you're switching up Charleston's and
1863 for one date, and it was 1861, and I didn't catch it till I went back and watched the replay. So we're doing a live tour of downtown Beaufort.
yeah. We're going. Which way we're going?
What?
Oh, it's
Right,
facing
it's
us
facing-
right now. Our faces. So if you go in front of us that way, you won't be seen.
And we won't. You just wanted to be in.
No, no.
You want to
You
be?
want to be in it?
No.
A star is born.
It could happen. All right. Have a good day, you guys.
So this house here would have been bulldozed, which would have really been a shame. But it's a beautiful, beautiful house. Now let's
Yeah,
head
it's
on.
gorgeous.
We're actually gonna head on down the street, so we may film them anyway.
Well, not on purpose.
Again, if you look in the backyard here, like the other day, that's and so they're actually. We have all kinds of citrus in Beaufort. If you look at a thermal map of the southeast United States, Beaufort and St. Helena are as far north as you can go and still reliably grow citrus. So we got orange trees, lemon trees, grapefruit trees, kumquat trees, and they grow here year round. Or they can grow because it's warm enough here year round.
I was going to say, because I don't see a lot of citrus in Charleston.
Too far north.
Wow, just that distance is already too far north.
I think there's some people who have citrus trees there, but they get too much of a frost sometimes. Now this pink house here is a house where Pat Conroy lived for 2 years when he was teaching at Beaufort High School. So this was after he graduated from Beaufort High, 4 years as a school, 4 years at the Citadel Military School in Charleston, and then he came back to Beaufort and was working as a school teacher. And this is where he lived. And right after he finished the Citadel, one of his people there that he knew really well, the Boo, who was Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Courvoisier, was demoted from being the Commandant of Cadets to being in charge of the warehouse and the laundry room. So Pat wasn't happy about that, so he wrote self-published short story book called The Boo. And this is where he lived when he wrote that.
Very cool.
Now this is a little pink house here. Now, around that same time, his next door neighbor here was pregnant with their second daughter in this little pink house coming up here on the right. And her husband was off fighting in Vietnam as a fighter pilot and was killed in action. So Pat Conroy swooped in, married Barbara,
Oh, gosh.
and before the second daughter was born, and adopted both of the children. And so at around that point in time, Pat and Barbara moved around the corner, and he took the teaching job, teaching the Gullah children on Defusky Island. Defusky is off the coast of Hilton Head. You can see it from Harbor Town. And it's like an island sent back in time because there are no bridges to the island. We're going to go by the blower up here.
Okay. Hey, real quick, just want to say, T, always a pleasure. Thank you. I owe you some responses. I'm going to come back to you soon. And Hale, we're shooting on a iPhone XR right now. I was trying before to get the 12 Plus to work, or the 12 Pro to work, but it wasn't working. So we had to switch back over to this one instead. And the gimbal is a DJI 3 Osmo 3 gimbal.
Mm-hmm.
Link to it on Amazon. I'll send a link to you on Amazon later on.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Now this house here is where Pat Conroy and Barbara moved to, and where he lived when he wrote his first major novel, The Water is Wide. And that was made into the 1974 movie Conrack, with John Voight as the Pat Conroy school teacher teaching the Gullah children on Defusky. And the other day, about 3 weeks ago, my granddaughter and I came by the house here, and this tree in the front yard had grapefruit on it up until yesterday, and the owner must have cut them all down. but he gave us one of the grapefruit off the tree, and the next morning for breakfast, my granddaughter and I had grapefruit juice from Pat Conroy's grapefruit tree.
Oh,
And I saved the seeds, so I'm going to plant them and try to get some grapefruit trees in my yard too.
that's awesome.
So again, we have lots of citrus here in Beaufort. Now Straight is where Blythe Danner and her daughter Gwyneth Paltrow stayed when Blythe was acting as Nick Nolte's wife in The Prince of Tides. So this is the house where they stayed. If you look around here, they have there's a ghost with St. Patrick's Day decorations up on the porch there.
Oh, yeah.
This house has the best Halloween party ever. 2 years ago, when they had like the rave European dance music playing, and they had people that were dressed out in Halloween costumes to the nine. The guy who dressed as the Pirates from the Caribbean pirate could have been Johnny Depp. He had the braided beard and the whole thing.
Wow,
So
cool.
this was a great Halloween party they have here.
Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Now these two houses coming up here are very similar to each other because they're Sears and Roebuck kid houses from about 100 years ago. And I did some research recently. Amazon sells a kid house now, and this is true, for $31,000. And if you're Amazon Prime, you get free shipping, free freight. It's 2-bedroom house, 2 baths, takes 2 people 2 days to put together. So it's a kid house. Now on the other side of the street here, this yellow house here, the gentleman who built this house went bankrupt when he was building it, and he had to do a lot of work on the foundation because this was a soggy area.
Coming up above.
F-35, there you go.
Is that a 35 or is that something else?
No, that's a different one. That'd be an F-16 or an F-18.
Right, it's a long quote. You can tell by the noise.
It's loud, but the decibels from the F-35B are a lot louder. So this yellow house here, he went bankrupt during the building of it, and so somebody said, how much did you spend when you were building your house? He said, a pretty penny. So the nickname for this house is a pretty penny.
I believe it. Jim, Waters Wide is also my favorite Pat Conroy novel. If I could ask you guys just a quick question. We're going over some bumps and such. How is it looking for you on the video? Is the gimbal taking out the bumps, or does it look really bumpy for you guys? Does it look stable or bumpy? If people could just let me know if it looks stable or bumpy for them, that'd be really great.
That'll be interesting, yeah.
And Folly Dude writes that was an F-18 Hornet.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Folly Dude.
Thank you. All right. Now, the other day on the walking tour, we saw the bust of Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls was a slave who was born behind this house here, which we locally call the National Historic Landmark. And when he was 22 years old, he was working on a steamship called the Planter up in the Charleston Harbor. And one night when the captain and crew went into town, he snuck his wife, children, and friends on board and took the steamship past the 4 Confederate checkpoints. First one was Castle Pinckney, and then the 4th one was Fort Sumter. And then he put out a big white surrender sheet, and he surrendered the ship to the Union blockade. The Union Navy made him the commander of that ship, Union Navy and Army, more or less for the remainder of the Civil War. It was headlines in the New York Times and the Boston, Philadelphia papers when he stole the ship. It was in the month of May. And so the Navy made him the commander on and off for the remainder of the war. After the war was over, he was paid a $1,500 finder's fee for turning over not only the ship, the Planter, but also it had a fresh load of guns on it. And with that $1,500, he spent $610, bought this house right here in front of us, the Robert Smalls house, and lived.
The Confederacy put a $4,000 bounty on his head.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah. So he was actually the first African American from South Carolina elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, served in the State House, served in the State Senate. He also was instrumental in the purchase of Parris Island by the U.S. Navy in the 1880s for ship rebuilding and refueling. And then at the end of his days, he was in charge of the U.S. Customs Duty House. Now there's also another story about Robert, that after he purchased this house, the wife of his former slave owner, Mrs. McKee or Mackey, came and knocked on the door one day, and she said, I live here. And he had bought the house legally, and so it was legally his house. But he was such a nice guy, he allowed her to live here for the rest of her life. And she, in her mind, she thought that the Civil War was still, slavery was still going on. And so she would refuse to eat at the same meal times as the family. They had and also then the Smalls family ate separately from her, but she had some form of dementia. So she lived here as well until the rest of her days. But this house sold 2 years ago for $1.5 million. So if you want to calculate inflation from the late 1860s until now, that would be the way to do it.
I'm with Jim writes, he votes that Denzel Washington stars as Robert Smalls in the movie.
30 years ago they were talking about doing that, and they actually never put the Robert Smalls movie together. There have been some documentaries.
There should be, because his story is so fascinating.
It really is.
And you know, there's something I read was that actually it wasn't just that they put him in charge of the it wasn't just that they put him in charge of the ship and captained it. In fact, at first he wasn't the captain of that ship that he taken. It was a white officer who battle. That white officer was so terrified about the battle that was going on, he hid in the coal bin in the steamship. And then they were like, all right. And then Robert took over the ship at like 23.
Right.
And he was like, well, if no one else is going to captain this, I'm going to captain this and save our lives. And he did. And then they were like, all right, we're going to make you the captain of the ship. And then he was, you know. So really, it's such a cool movie.
On and off. It would be a great movie, absolutely. Now, there are two great books to read about this. One of them is called Trouble the Water by my friend Rebecca Dwight Bruff, Becky. And she, 8 years ago, came to Beaufort with her husband from Texas, fell in love with the story of Robert Smalls, and told her husband when they retired 2 years later they were going to come to Beaufort and she was going to write a book about Robert Smalls. It was released almost 2 years ago. It was in May, so it was the 2-year anniversary of the date that Robert stole the steamship, the Planner. And it's called Trouble the Water.
Trouble the Water. And what was the author's name one more time?
Author's name is Rebecca Dwight Bruff.
I'll put a link into the bottom later on. In the comment section, guys, I'm definitely getting that book.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Now, that's a historical fiction. And the other book is called Be Free or Die, and it's written by Kate Lineberry. She actually called me about 6 years ago when it came out and sent me a copy. And so I have to give her a shout out for this. You just read it front to back. The story of Robert Smalls is amazing.
Awesome.
And the title of the book, Be Free or Die, Robert Smalls and his wife agreed they would rather risk dying, because at any point as slaves they and the children could be sold off and they would never see each other again.
Right.
And so their plan was that if they didn't successfully steal the steamship, they were going to jump off, and they didn't swim very well and they would just drown in the Atlantic.
Wow.
So be free or die.
American hero.
All right, let's continue on here. Now, the slaves were not originally free. They were called by the Union contrabands or contraband of war. And then it wasn't until 1863 we had an early reading of the Emancipation Proclamation here, and that freed all the slaves in the southern rebellious states. Slavery was still legal in the North at that point. Very political movement at that time. And so on the left here, this church congregation was started in 1863 by the newly freed slaves. It's the first African Baptist church. And it's beautiful. You know, it actually reminds me of the church where Forest Gump sang in the choir in the movie, but it's not. That was a movie filmed outside of town here. But it is a beautiful church, and it is, to this day, an African-American congregation. Let's see. Now, you know what? I think we're going to do a walkthrough into the chocolate tree. Does a little chocolate sound good?
Yeah, it does.
Let's do that. So, Tom Hanks was sitting on his park bench in Savannah eating his box of Russell Stover chocolate, and the director noticed it was taking him too long to chew his chocolate and say his lines, and so he decided, the director worked with the owner of the chocolate tree here to make chocolate that was hollow and fit in the slots of the chocolate box. So the chocolate in the box was from the chocolate tree.
So the chocolate that Forrest Gump is eating
on the park
when
bench.
He's talking about life is like a box of chocolate.
Exactly.
Is this chocolate?
That Tom Hanks ate a lot of chocolate here for years to come after that. So we'll just go take a quick look in here.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, remember to mask up.
My bag's probably okay back there, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Small town.
Also, when we go in the door here, you can check some of the...
Is it okay for us to film in here?
You want me to?
Yeah, we should probably just ask them real quick.
Okay.
I'll hang out here for a second.
Hey, we're doing a live video broadcast. Would it be okay if we just walk in here for a couple minutes and show everybody what the chocolate tree looks like?
You gotta ask the owner.
Yeah.
have to ask.
Okay,
Hold on.
we're going to find out. Sure. Boy, you can smell that chocolate too. Boy, does that smell good. They do have all kinds of chocolate here, chocolate turtles and sand dollar sized chocolate. If you come on a tour, you can actually come in here and get a free sample of the sand dollar sized chocolate. Hang on 1 minute, we're getting an answer. Sure does smell good though, doesn't it? They have a sign right here, have a sweet day, please come again. I like that.
Will you be able to come in and not hold a dog?
Sure. What's that?
This is the owner.
Okay. Hey, I'm Bill from Beaufort Tours. We were just doing a live video of a tour of Beaufort, and I wanted to know if we could bring the camera guy in here just to show.
On the front.
Yeah, just walk in and through
that's
and come
fine.
back. Great, super. Thank you.
And if anybody doesn't want to be in it, they can
Okay.
disappear.
Pineapple cream, peanut butter cups. These have a little bit of liqueur in them. And you can just really smell the chocolate here. It's
so intense.
it
The
is.
smell of chocolate
It is.
through my mask.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, man.
So this makes a great gift as well. Come in here. Now, if I bring my daughter in here, she loads up on chocolate. It's an expensive trip.
Well,
But the chocolate.
definitely. Put a link to